Welcome back to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're joining us today because we are diving headfirst into a deeply inspiring true story. It's all about resilience, sheer willpower, and honestly, the undeniable power of learning. We're going to unpack the remarkable journey of a young woman named Anisha. Now, this isn't just your standard story about someone landing a good job. No way. This is a literal masterclass in how unwavering dedication can completely rewrite a family's entire destiny. So if you're looking for a blueprint on how to overcome what seem like completely impossible odds, well, you're in exactly the right place. Okay, let's dive right into this. Can education truly break the chains of extreme poverty? I mean, we hear this all the time, right? It almost sounds like a cliché at this point. But what does it actually look like when someone puts it to the ultimate test? To really grasp Anisha's story, we first have to ground ourselves in the sheer, crushing weight of her starting point. We aren't just talking about not having the latest gadgets or whatever. We are talking about a fundamental, daily, grinding struggle for basic human survival.
Part 1. Poverty and Family Struggle.
The contrast we're exploring right now really says it all. On one side, we have this unbelievably harsh reality. Anisha grew up in a tiny village tucked away in the hills, and her family was, well, they were economically devastated. Her father spent every single day doing grueling, backbreaking daily wage labor. Her mother worked domestic jobs in other people's homes just trying to keep the family afloat. And even with all of that exhausting work, just scraping together 2 meals a day was a massive, massive hurdle. You can imagine that in an environment where even food is uncertain, just trying to find the cash for school fees cast this constant, dark shadow of anxiety over her parents. Actually, at times, her education was on the brink of stopping entirely, simply because the money just wasn't there. But then, on the other side, we have Anisha's massive dream. Amidst all this hardship, she held on to this profound, unshakable belief that education was her one and only escape route. She didn't just want to survive, she wanted to thrive. She saw her parents struggling and literally decided, I am going to write a different ending for us.
Part 2. Unwavering Resolve for Education.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer volume of concrete, utterly exhausting actions Anisha took. She just refused to let her circumstances dictate her life. Didn't have money for books? Okay, she borrowed them from friends. No electricity? Fine. She studied late into the night by the dim, flickering light of a kerosene lamp. Her days started way before dawn with heavy household chores, then a full day of school, and she even spent her holidays tutoring younger kids just to scrape together a little extra cash. She never, ever compromised on her studies. Just think about the sheer stamina that requires. When we talk about focus and determination, this is exactly what it looks like in practice. It's not just some fleeting feeling of motivation. It is waking up early and studying late, day after day, year after grinding year.
Chapter 3. Higher Education and Challenges. Let's move along and see how this builds, mapping out her life's trajectory. She started in that humble village school, always securing top marks despite the crazy odds against her. And that relentless effort paid off in a huge way. She actually earned a scholarship for higher education. But, and this is a massive but, getting into university wasn't the finish line. Not even close. It was really the beginning of an entirely new set of brutal tests. Now, it ultimately led her to a job at a multinational company, but that middle phase, the university phase, it was incredibly taxing.
This is absolutely crucial to understand. Getting great grades in school didn't magically make her university experience a walk in the park. University was a crucible. Sure, the scholarship might have covered the tuition, but that daily, grinding financial lack, it was still there. She faced intense loneliness and a whole host of other problems that repeatedly tested her resolve. While other students were, taking breaks, resting, or just enjoying typical college life, Anisha was constantly working, constantly building her future. The pressure was immense because she knew, deep down, she literally couldn't afford to fail. Her entire family's future was riding squarely on her shoulders.
Section 4. Success and Family Transformation.
So, Anisha graduated with top marks, which, let's be honest, is no surprise given her insane work ethic. And what followed was just this rapid-fire succession of professional wins. First, she secures a position at a highly respected multinational company. Boom. And from there, she doesn't just sit comfortably in an entry-level role. She earns quick promotions. Why? Because that exact same diligence, honesty, and unbelievable hard work she poured into her studies transferred right over into her professional life. In no time at all, she became an absolutely crucial asset to her company. Her income started growing day by day, and she reached a level of success that went way beyond her wildest childhood imagination. And this brilliantly illustrates the core of who Anisha actually is. Think about it. What did she do when she finally made it?
She didn't go out and buy a flashy car or jet off to some luxurious island. No. Her absolute #1 priority was transforming her family's life. She built a beautiful, fully equipped house for her parents. She ended her father's brutal daily wage labor forever. She looked at her mother and told her she never had to clean another person's house again. For the first time in their entire lives, her family experienced what it was like to be completely free from economic anxiety. And of course, she made absolutely sure her siblings had access to the high-quality education she had to fight so fiercely for.
Finally, Section 5, the reward of struggle and inspiration.
I really want you to picture this scene. They're sitting out on the beautiful balcony of their brand new, secure home. Anisha is just enjoying a quiet moment of peace with her family. Her father looks over at her, undoubtedly with immense pride and probably a few tears in his eyes, and he says to her, "Daughter, your hard work changed our lives." Just imagine the profound weight of those words, especially coming from a man who spent his entire life doing backbreaking labor just to afford a single meal. And Anisha, likely with tears of joy in her own eyes, responds with this beautifully humble sentiment. She says, "This success is not just mine. Without your sacrifice, love, and belief, I couldn't have reached here." It just shows this incredibly deep familial bond. It really highlights that, Anisha put in the grueling academic work, the emotional fuel, that unconditional love and belief from her parents despite their crushing poverty. That was the solid foundation she stood on. Sitting on that balcony, she knew for a fact that absolutely none of her struggles had been in vain.
So, the crucial point here is what we can call the Anisha blueprint. Her story is this shining beacon for anyone facing serious hardship. It maps out a very clear path. Unwavering dedication to education, fueled by intense personal grit and deep familial love, is genuinely capable of breaking generational cycles of poverty. It absolutely proves that no matter how difficult your current circumstances might be, if you combine education with fierce determination, it can, for sure, lead you to prosperity and success. As we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a lingering thought to carry with you. How will you apply Anisha's lessons of education and determination to conquer your own hardships? When you inevitably face a tough obstacle this week, I want you to think of Anisha, up late, studying by the flicker of that kerosene lamp, and I want you to push forward. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this incredible source material. Keep learning, keep pushing, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.